So really quick, thank you so much everyone for joining. My name is Saamer Mansoor. This is my little presentation that I have. Oh, not share, present. Yeah. So basically that's me, a nobody. No one cared about me except for my family and my friends, just like everyone else, basically. But I went to the University of Texas at Dallas, studied engineering there. Over there, I met my friend Omar, who I love dearly. Still stay in touch with him. He got me introduced into mobile development, Arduinos, and tinkering with things, changing parts, installing Android on Windows phones, and like all this like custom bootloader stuff, custom software, and all that stuff. And so it was fun, interesting, got me excited. I graduated from university and I did a boot camp called Epic U. It was 3 months, C#, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. From there, I got my I got introduced into an internship. They paid nothing, but it was a great opportunity. And I got to learn Xamarin there, which was amazing. It was an amazing opportunity. I was so excited because I would be able to control all these little toys that I was making, these robots, with a phone. And so that got me into a lot of different hackathons and got me watching so many YouTube videos. There's this YouTuber, his name is James Quick. This one time it was like 8 p.m. So I used to stay back after work and just try to figure this stuff out. And there was this huge mental block that I just didn't know. I was so new to this stuff. And then watching one of James Quick's videos, he's on Twitter. He's a really good guy. I was able to figure it out. And then I did a lot of amazing apps that were installed by over 2 million people, that hit top 5 on the App Store in Xamarin. So that was awesome. And then I moved from Dallas to I moved from Dallas to Denver, and then to Toronto, and now I'm in Windsor, which is right next to Detroit. So I'm all over the place. And yeah, and that's me. And so in order to get this stuff started, in order to do any project, to get to a certain point, you have to have some sort of inspiration. So let's say that your inspiration is that, you want to be able to get kombucha out of, figure out when the kombucha gets over. And this is what I set it up against the first part of this presentation. So the kombucha at our work, when I was at Slalom doing the My Spectrum app, would always get over whenever we wanted it to drink it. And it was 3 floors up, so it was a long, very arduous journey through the heat, and we had to climb mountains to get there. So it was why don't we just automate it, figure out when it comes, and so we get it when it's fresh. So in order to figure that out, you need to know some Xamarin basics. Xamarin is native. You have native API access, you get native performance, native user interfaces. So even if you have no mobile experience, you'll be able to figure this stuff out with me. That's the bar that I've set it to, very, very minimal coding experience, okay? So there's Xamarin Native and Xamarin Forms. This is all going away, but Xamarin Forms basically shares the UI code, and Xamarin Native, which we do at the first prototype, requires you to do custom UI code. It's very complicated and difficult, which is basically iOS and Android development, very complicated and difficult. But then Xamarin Forms really simplifies it. Maui is going to simplify it even more. So getting started, just go to the Visual Studio website. And if you're using a Mac, which I recommend for for mobile development, you install Visual Studio for Mac. And then, it's very simple. You can use the rest as well, but I'm just going to show you the steps. Once you install it, just, press next, and then it's installed. You just click on Visual Studio button and, say new project, blank app, put the name, hit the play button, and that's your first mobile app. So if you haven't created a mobile app yet, just go ahead and do it today because it is that easy to do this. So let's just, try to follow the steps. It's going to take some time to build because it's going to be the first build. And so that's what we're just going to get it started, and we're going to get back to look at it. But basically, all I did, I clicked on Visual Studio. I said new, app, and then I'm just going to say blank. I'm just going to say test, maybe. Say next, create. It already exists. Yes, I don't care that it already exists. Overwrite, whatever you need to do. Okay, so now it's creating it. And like I said, showed you over there, all you need to do is change this. If you want to build an Android app, you just hit on Android. If you want to hit build an iOS app, just hit iOS. Debug, and then usually it takes some time to load. Apple SDK issues. Basically, I did not update my Xamarin. Sorry, I did not update my Visual Studio or my Xcode on this computer, and so it just basically says, oh, you need to update your stuff, essentially. So I'm going to try Android for now. It will let me build it on. Just do this. So it's going to try to build it on my phone for now. In the meantime, we're just going to continue. So this is just basics of Xamarin Forms. If you want to understand how to work with Xamarin Forms, you just have to remember 3 things: pages, layouts, and views. So on the top level, it's like a hierarchy. So you'll have one page on one screen, and then you can have multiple layouts in that page, and then you can have multiple views in that specific layout. But one screen can only have one page. So pages, layouts, and views. Pages, layouts, views. So over here, if you see, you have your content page, and inside your content page, you have a stack layout. So there's different types of pages. There's different types of layouts. And then inside one layout, you have multiple views. So your entry view, and your button view. So you see over here, entry, and button. Okay, so pretty straightforward, super simple to do. Over here, the example uses XAML. There is a way to do it using C#. You just basically remove initialize component that pops up. So if you have a page, the blank template has a page like this, and then you can see your XAML code and then your C# code behind. So the CS stands for C#. So it has this initialize component line. So you can just remove that and then just do your UI in C# instead. So you have your views, and then your this is just like an event handler for the button. So if someone clicks on it, you can make it do something. And then you have your layout where you add everything to that layout. So you added this view, this view, this view to that layout, and then you put everything inside the content of the page. So you say content equals that layout. Okay, so the first demo is essentially what we started already, just because it takes some time. Let me also look and see if we have Visor set up on this. So I actually had several challenges today while presenting. The main computer that I use, I'm actually not even able to open Google on this main computer. So I have 3 computers set up just to demo this for you. And so let me go ahead and hook up the Android device to that, and I'm going to be back. Give me 5 seconds. All right. So connecting. And there we go. Okay. So as you see, I connected this Android device. Oh, okay. I need to allow USB debugging. So you just have to tap on it. So if you use an emulator, it's much easier to set up. But if you're using a device, like you have to go through some setup just for security purposes. So yeah, Android build. If it accepts my play. Okay, so that's building. Now, so while that's building, let's go to the second part, which is the main part that most of you are probably here for. So in order to understand this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain it with something simpler and then go on to the more complicated Raspberry Pi. So there's microcontrollers and there's microprocessors. So microprocessor is essentially a computer. It has all the parts and it has multiple microcontrollers in it. And a microcontroller, on the other hand, is just like a small single unit. And Arduinos are microcontrollers, but microprocessors are Raspberry Pis. And most microprocessors don't give you the access that the Raspberry Pi does, where it gives you these little pins that you can access stuff with. So we're going to start with a microcontroller first, which is a particle spark like this. And it's very easy to work with. It is less risky. They're usually less expensive, and they're more durable, I would say, as well. And you don't really need like memory cards and all that stuff, and you don't really have an HDMI port to connect with. So the reason I'm using a photon particle versus an Arduino or a Node ESP32, which are also very popular, is because the photon particle, apart from having Wi-Fi, it also has a cloud, like a cloud platform where you can push the code from. So initially, Arduino or ESP32s, you just connect it to your computer, and then you can push the code through your computer. But with a photon particle, as long as the device is connected to the internet, you can just push code to it. And then it's important to note, there's a ton of these little lights. They're called LEDs. If you put it in the wrong direction, it's not going to work. There's like a negative and positive for LEDs as well. So remember that the shorter end is negative, but if it doesn't work, just flip it and it will start working. And make sure that you don't just put an LED directly. You have to use a resistor, because usually 3 volts or 5 volts is too high for an LED. So it'll burn, and then you'll have to use a different one. They're pretty cheap. We talked about coding through the browser. I'm just going to show it really quick. Here. So yeah, so if you just go to build.particle.io, it essentially takes you to this place where you can set this stuff up. So you can put in the code, as you can see on my screen, and you have your setup function, which is the function that gets called only once as soon as you turn it on, and the loop is called every single time, like multiple times a second. And this is where you put the code. As soon as you put it in, you just go ahead and push it. You just say save, and then you make sure it compiles, and then you push the code. So in order to set this up, like I said, you just make sure that you download it, connect it to the Wi-Fi. There's an additional step where you have to create the particle token just for security purposes. And that was another thing as well, because yeah, so you say particle token create. Where'd that go? Particle token create. and it gives you a token that you can use to access it externally. Okay, yeah, and so it expires every so often, and so you have to get a new token every so often. So you take this, and we'll show you exactly what to do next. Okay, what's up with this? So it says install canceled by the user. Oh, I have to accept the installation. So just for security purposes, like if you try to install something, it asks you if you want to install it. So I just say, yes, I want to install it. So then it goes ahead and actually installs the stuff. This is from the first demo. Come on. Yeah, and you've probably seen this in other presentations already, but this is your basic page. It has labels, it has texts of different kinds. You see over here it says welcome to Xamarin Forms. So I'm going to change it to say welcome to red sanitize. And I don't even hit save, and it just populates it. So that's your basic stuff. But we're going to go into this. So over here, as you can see, you have your microcontroller. I'm going to disconnect it. And there's different pins, there's different outlets. And so if you see, I've connected it to the ground over here on pin number 2. And over here, it's connected to D6. So it's similarly connected over here. There's just a few changes, but this one shows how the current is flowing. So the current flows from the ground all the way here because the breadboard essentially current flows horizontally over here and vertically over here. So it flows vertically here, and then you use this resistor so that you don't blow up the LED. It goes through the LED, comes back, and goes to D6. Okay, so on and off states. I'm going to show over here. Okay, so we're connected it over here. Now this, so if the kombucha is there, if you didn't run out of the drink, then we want to change the light. So we want it to be red or blue. So what I'm going to do over here, I'm just going to connect, push this code. Actually, let's take a look at this code pen to see that it actually connects to the device. Okay, so let's go to build. So this is your device. This is the Raspberry Pi that's connected. I don't see the Photon connected. Let me get the Photon connected as well. App Store. Let's see what's up. Come on. Photon particle. Yeah, so this is the app that you installed to debug it on your computer. It's just called Particle Photon. And but in the meantime, it seems like it's already connected to the internet, but my account is just not able to see it. So I'm just going to refresh and see what's up with that. Usually if a device is online, it shows up. There we go. Hunter Ranger, device connected. Perfect. So now over here, if you look at it, it says, this device is connected. So if we want to push some code to it, we just push it like that. But all we need in order to control it is just this device ID, which I'm going to take to the to this code pen. So where's my kombucha? So just Google it. Code pen, where's my kombucha? Yeah, and then I just paste it. Oh, this is basically the Git repository that shows most of it. But here is the code pen, and I paste the device ID over here, and then I get the access token. So where's the access token? So when I click over here, where did my access token go? Okay, I can get the access token from here as well. So go here and that in over here. Okay, so if I change this, so it should essentially change the light. So I just hit dispatch message. Oh, so I think it did not recognize the device ID. Or let's see, devices, come on. Holy moly. Personal access token. Yeah, so I just generated the personal access token using token create command. And then I put that in here. Let's see. So here is this. So it says radio, dispatch message, buggers, LED. Okay, so let's see. Kombucha. What's my IP? Ultrasonic sensor. Let's try this one. So I'm going to save this, verify that it works, and I'm going to push it to this Photon device. So not the Raspberry Pi. I'm going to push it to the Photon device. I'm going to make sure that it pushes it. As you see, it's going to start blinking a little bit. And you just have to make sure that the pins are in the right place. So if you see over here, it says D0 and D1. So I'm going to change it to D1 and D7. D7. And I'm going to say flash. And so what it does over here is that it has these particle functions and particle variables that are accessible outside. Come on. Why is it unsuccessful? Don't do this to me. No, it probably will work. But essentially, there we go. Yeah. So essentially, there's different pins. Like I showed you, there's different digital pins and analog pins. So this one has D0 and D7. So these particle functions that are available through the API outside the app can be changed to toggle whatever value you want. And variables are just ways to access stuff. So over here, when I go in, I just say, the buggers finish it all. I dispatch message. Particle token provided is invalid. Let me make sure that it saved it. I don't think it saved it. Save. Connected true. That's probably what it was. I just had to log in. Okay, so D1. So if you notice that the color's out when I press the button, the color changes. Let's try it again. So dispatch message. Yeah. So if you notice, there's that little color over there. I think my D1 and D0. Holy moly. D1 and D7. Yeah, there's two LED lights over here. One of them is on D7 and one of them is on D1. So if you, as soon as it finishes flashing, so it's flashing the value, and then it's restarting the device. And now I can change the device so that it, turns on the other color. And this is essentially how most bigger products are made. So this is like the very small version of it. But what you can do the same exact thing using code. So for example, I'm just going to take the code from the where's my kombucha Git repository. So you go here, and then you say, you just go to where's my kombucha, get the code from here and here. There. Yeah. So I'm going to just copy this code. I'm going to paste it in. And so it does a lot of different things, and we'll go through it together. GitHub, where's my kombucha? Yeah, I had everything set up on one computer, and then like, all right. So yeah, you go here, go into this project, get this page.
I'm sorry, Saamer. I don't know if you're sharing something somewhere else, because we're just looking at a black screen with code.
Oh no, where? What? Thank you for letting me know. Okay. You're looking at a black screen?
Yeah, I see build.particle.io.
Maybe it's a little slow. Is it not showing you my GitHub right now?
Nope.
How about now?
Nope. Still the same screen. Nothing is happening.
Okay, let me try to unshare and then share again.
I think the time also says 11:01 a.m., so it might have frozen up at some point.
Oh yeah, probably did. Thank you for letting me know. Probably 4 minutes ago then. All right, how about now?
Yep, I see Visual Studio now.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so I basically go into my Git repository. Holy, are you stuck? Okay. It is a little slow. My gosh, I promise this all was working. Okay, either way. So if you look into the Git repository, I'm just going to explain what it does. And, I like, it definitely does work. But inside the code, you'll notice that we have, the title of the page, we have it set, and we have certain functions. Okay, so inside our real code, inside our UI code, we have two buttons. There's a sanitize me button that essentially will either sanitize you or turn it off. So, you click that button, it spits out the sanitizer, and then you go into your C# code, and if you go to the sanitize me button, clicked function, you see over here it essentially says turn on the sanitizer, and then it waits for 1/3 of a second, and then it turns off the sanitizer. So you click over here, and then you'll see that it basically sends the on value to your API call, and then it essentially returns a result label update. So it says, hey, it successfully sanitized. And inside the API call, it sends this on value, and that on value, as I showed you, it goes back and it goes back and updates the state of the code, and then it essentially turns on or turns off, just like you saw. The light either turns on or it turns off. And just what we use we use Newtonsoft JSON in order to serialize or deserialize the objects that are needed. So over here, as you can see, we get the result, and that result is essentially processed using those values. So we just pass in post async v1 device ID using the particle function. So what I'm going to do is try to see what's up with this. Why did it hang? Why did you hang on me? Live demos definitely are not the best to rely on. Here, let's see. Screen sharing. Why did you stop sharing? Come on. Hold on. Yeah, my demo just gave up on me. But either way, what I'm going to show you now, we saw the microprocessor blinking lights. What we're going to try to do is use that same concept to make the Raspberry Pi do some work for us. So what we have over here, we have our power supply. So let me see if you guys can at least see my screen. So turn off my screen. And yeah, so we have a power supply over here. So this is what connects to the power. And you can get these off pretty cheap, but make sure that it's certified. And they plug into the power. So it goes to your 110 in your house, or your 120, or your 220, depending on what country you're in. And so this power supply converts alternating current to direct current, and it moves the voltage down from 110 to 12 volts. So that's something that is safe, in the safe range for appliances generally. I think, yeah. And so once it converts it, you use your breadboard, and you can use a transformer. So this is a step-down transformer in order to power up your Raspberry Pi. You can either power it up using this, or you can just connect it to USB. Either way works. But after it's powered up, what you can do now is you connect. So basically, if you already have power, you don't really need this. But if you're creating a device, you need to step it down from 12 volts to 5 volts, and then you have little knobs in order to change that. And then after that, what you have over here is your relay. So this one is basically like a switch, but it can electronically be managed and controlled. And essentially, when you pass in 5 volts, it turns on. When you remove the 5 volts, it goes back to the off stage. So, and then you can also set it up to do the opposite. So there's 3 for each. And over here we have 8 relays. We don't need 8 relays. We just need 1. So for the first relay, I'm just going to connect it so that it's connected like this. And I'm just going to clear it up a bit. One end of the relay basically gets the power. The other end of the relay, you can just connect it to your motor. So this over here, we just have a simple a peristaltic pump, so that doesn't touch the different parts of the motor. So essentially it doesn't contaminate whatever liquid that you have going through it. So you can essentially use it for entertainment purposes, for being able to drink water. So this is food grade pipes, and essentially it doesn't contaminate anything that you're eating. So all you need to do is you just need to connect your relay to your Raspberry Pi in the right way. So make sure that you have like D0 set up and your power and ground. And then what you'll need to do is you just basically turn it on. So give me 1 second. So you have this set up, and what you generally do is you have, and let me share my screen again. You have a paper, the electronic sheet. What do you call it? Here, let me open it up again. Yeah, so you essentially look at the pin outlet diagram, and it will tell you which pin to connect what to. So right now we need 5 volts. So I'm going to connect the VCC into the 5 volts. So I look at the color, I connect it over here, and I just go back and I drop it in. So this goes here. And then I connect my ground with the ground over here. So it just goes here, it's red, and here. And then I connect the last one to just D0. So IN1, I'm just going to connect it to D0. So that's number 7. Okay, and then all I need to do is compile the code. So I send the code over to, oh yeah, this started working by itself magically. So I'm just going to send the code over instead of sending it from, instead of sending it to the particle, I'm just going to send it to the Raspberry Pi instead. So I go over here, select this, and just say flash. So it's flashing the code, it's doing all this stuff, and it's trying to put the code into that Raspberry Pi. So yeah, and it says flash successful. So right now, did that actually push the code on? I just need to be able to like build the app, because now it's already working. Like I can hear it say, on and off, but I just need like a place to press the on and off button. And it would be like amazing, but obviously it wouldn't work right now. Let's see. So freaking close. Let's do it. Network, connect. Please work. Please work. Okay, here's another option that we have. I'm just going to stop this. Open, auto sanitize. Yeah, but essentially here, let me, no, don't save. Let me get the sanitizer. All right, so while it's restoring, we have some sanitizer per se over here, and going back over here, let me turn it on. Gerald, how much time do we have?
Well, you're if we count the 45 minutes from when you started, then you have 5 more minutes.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna try to make this work.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see. So build the particle.io. Is my screen still sharing right now?
Yep, looks like it.
Okay, so flash onto Samsan, and okay, so what, D1 and D0. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure that we're at the right spot. And then the code over here. Okay, so hit play. Let's hope this builds, and this should be good. Yeah, this is basically it. So the entire setup is fairly simple while it's building. If you notice, it's essentially, the pump, the relay, your Raspberry Pi, and then just the power supply. So you just need 4 devices, and obviously the sanitizer. But you can, and you need Xamarin, obviously, and like you can go ahead and create this by yourself as well. Let me just try some stuff off. Okay. Come on. Just load. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I click on the Sanitize Me button, and then it essentially should turn on. Give me 1 second. I think I have the pins. So D0 and D1. So it's D0 right now. I'm going to turn to D1. Okay, for some reason, this is not going on. Let's see again. So usually, if you're trying to debug with electronics, you use something called a multimeter, and then you turn it to your direct current, and then you just see, okay, what's up with this? What's up with that? What's up with this? Okay, so that has power. This has power too. Okay. So this should go in. This should be in like that. Turn this up a little bit. I need a smaller cup. So this goes there, this goes here, and that goes there. And so this technically should just go. Here. Okay, so I think I got it to work finally. Let me see, make sure the screen's pointed. All right, yeah. So as you can see, we have some sanitizer here. So I just plug it in over there and it spits out, as you can see, the sanitizer there. Yeah, I'm just gonna stop that there for now. But yeah, that's the miniature version. Oh wait, let me stop sharing my screen and show it again. So you have your sanitizer here. I'm just gonna plug this into the sanitizer and this one spits out the sanitizer. So I just put that in and if you can see, it's spitting out sanitizer. So I take it out of the sanitizer and stop spitting it out. But yeah, that's the short version of it. Give me 1 second. Turn this off. All right. Yeah, I hope you guys learned something.
You made it. You made it.